Hello and welcome back to yet another cast of a tournament match from the Summer Cup 2024 in Shogun 2. We are here on Chikugo River in a round 2 match between Spice Merchant in the pink purple-ish banners and C4 in the gray banners. We do have two dojos on this island that most players usually go for, a sword dojo and an archery dojo. And on the other separate island, we do have a shrine. Going over Spice's army first, so he is bringing 2 units of Cav, a Spears of Shizugatake and a Fire Cav, rank 0. His general is a full leadership general, and then he does have quite a big infantry build, consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4 matchlocks, 3 of them are Shigaru, 1 of them being a samurai. We see 3 spears on the left flank, 2 Naginata Sams, rank 2, and 1 Yari Ash, rank 2. Then in the center we have 2 Nodachi, 3 Nodachi, some more Yari Ash and Yari Sams, and yeah, so 2 Nagi Sams and 2 Yari Sams on each flank. Quite an interesting choice, especially rank 2 Naginata Sams. Usually you see Naginata Sams not being played at all, or being played at like level 6 and above. So we'll see. For C4 we have, going for the shrine, a Naginata attendant. Then he has a mix between leadership and Bushido general. Also a couple of matchlocks, 3. All of them are Shigaru. A bulletproof Sam, rank 4. A 1 long Yari and 2 Yari Ashigaru on the flanks, some lone sword with Banzai, and this is crucial, a Daikyu Samurai with 200 range, as well as a Boa Ashigaru rank 5. And Cav wise, we also only see 1 Fire Cav, so far at least. So both players being really cheap with their Cav. Meaning that both players are pursuing the plan to just occupy this island with lots of infantry. But we also see no matchlock with extended range, which is, I think, a good choice here on this map, because you can't really use any range advantage with the terrain here. So matchlock Ashigaru will suffice, and also Daikyu Samurai are a really good choice here. They are well protected while simultaneously having a good line of sight, and they can pick and choose their targets here without Spice Merchant really being able to do anything about it. So by the looks of it, neither player is going to get either of the dojos, but we see some flanking maneuvers from Spice Merchant, who's trying to occupy the whole width of this small island. C4 will have to retreat here or send reinforcements, but yeah, the bulletproof is not too threatened by a matchlock. Here we see some good move by Spice Merchant, trying to negate the shrine and stop C4 from capturing it with some unnecessary casualties, I think, for the general. But I guess he really wanted to stop that Nagi attendant. But let's see if he will capture it himself or if he will move on. So we see the engagement starting on the flank with Nagi Sam against Bulletproof. I don't think they got the proper charge, but they're fighting downhill. But the problem is that he's lacking the support here. Swords charging into the back of the Nagi Sams, they will rout very soon. But now he will get the chance to fire into the Fire Cav with his matchlocks. 15 kills, very good. But the problem is, so far there are no swords in the mix for Spice Merchant, and he will struggle with his morale, because these units are very far apart from the main force, and especially the general. Yeah, we see the first unit routing here. But Spice also had some hidden contingent with another light calf and some Waker Raiders, Matchlock, and Spears that was hidden here in the forest, which didn't really surprise Spice Merchant, but still, I think Spice is making the wrong decision here, trying to take out an entire flank just with calf. That will be very costly, especially since this is a hero calf and a fire calf. Also, I don't agree with the choice of the Spears of Shitsugatake. I think the only reason why you would bring that is if you play against the melee general and you need something to kill it. Or if you play against Great Guards and you want to you want to withstand them for a little longer than Yarikav does. But otherwise, this is a very costly investment. And the problem with hero units or units that are that expensive is always that they will die just as easily as Yari-Ashigaru to matchlocks. And both players are players that play with lots of matchlocks, so I don't know about hero units here. But yeah, we see Spice struggling to maintain the morale on his left flank. Yeah, when you're low on morale, then even spear units can be very vulnerable to calf as long as they are charged in the back, and this flank will experience a complete rout, and I don't think Spice has got that much in return for it. And especially the calf that he is flanking around with is an element that's really missing here from this flank, because he is very immobile and unprotected against C4's calf contingent. But all the while these things happened on either flank. The Bow Ashigaru and the Daikyu were constantly firing, doing lots of damage without, I think, Spice Merchant getting any return for it. We have half strength Matchlock Ashigaru with 0 kills, and yeah, I think he's now in a spot where he feels he's forced to react and do something, but there's really no avenue of attack that's opened up for him. So we see some Nodachi charging frontally against Long Yariash, which will mean that this Nodachi will die very quickly. And yeah, at this point, I think it's a foregone conclusion that Spice Merchant is going to lose this match. But we'll see. Perhaps no frontal charge against Yari Ash, but a nice salvo from the Matchlock Ash into the hero units and the fire calf. So yeah, that's, as I said, that's always the risk with expensive units. It's the matchlocks that are posing a huge threat. But yeah, what could have been done differently here? The answer is pretty simple. To not attack here with such a weak force, consisting of basically a bunch of low morale units and Nagi-Sams, which melt away in a melee against lone swords. I think getting more aggressive in the center could have helped Spice Merchant. Just getting over this little hill here and just engaging the Matchlock Ashigaru in a firefight. Just not giving C4 enough time to make these bold units pay. And then yes, C4 could still retreat a little bit into the water and make sure that he has a safe distance with his Daikyu. So it would still be annoying to play against the Daikyu, but at least Spice could get both of the dojos that way by applying more pressure. But yeah, I think some of the unit choices were not that wise. Nagi-Sams are just not units that you want to push a flank with. some well-performing lone swords. Bo Ashigaru, underrated unit, I think. I think I said it before in a different cast, but yeah, good unit, 134 kills. And yeah, we have one well-performing Nodachi for Spice, but otherwise it's pretty underwhelming. Yeah, so that's it for game 1. Score is 1-0 to C4, and I'll see you guys in game number 2. Bye-bye. And we're back with game 2 on the map Kurobe Gorge, with a farmhouse in the center and an archery dojo, as well as a workshop on the flanks. So the least important 3 dojos, I would say. So there's no sword dojo and no shrine on the map. But let's have a look at what Spice is bringing. So again, he sticks to a setup of only 2 cavalry, which is super low. But yeah, it's 2 Yarikav, rank 2. Then I count 3 matchlocks. Matchlock Sam extended range, Portuguese Tercos extended range, and Matchlock Sam extended range, backed by some Yari Ash and Nodachi. He has a flanking force on the left around the archery dojo, consisting of 2 Yari Sam rank 5 with some decent stats, and on the right he has a bulletproof and a Yari Sam going for the going for the workshop. For C4, we see some units still hidden, but he has a Matchlock Ash, also extended range with some Yari Ash and Lone Swords. He has a Daikyu again. I think the Daikyu on the last map was completely unharmed, so he could bring it again this battle. Then he has one more Matchlock with extended range and another Bow Ash, just as in the last game. And the rest of the army is hidden. Yeah, we have another Matchlock here with a Long Yari and a Lone Sword with Banzai. So there's probably a couple more Lone Swords with Banzai. Yeah. So I count 3 in total. And another Matchlock Sam without extended range. So it looks like C4 is being a bit more passive here. Not crossing the river on either flank, even though I think it was his map choice. So technically he is the attacker, but I think Spice is going for the more aggressive moves here. Some fake charges from the Yarikav, obviously targeting the Daikyu. We'll see if there is a Matchlock hidden here ready to shoot. Yeah. Let's see if they get a volley off. Straight into the general. 5 kills, not bad. But yeah, now it needs protection. Good reaction from C4 with the Long Yari. Spice will have to retreat here. Spice does this a lot, so going on scouting missions with his Cav in general, which not infrequently costs him the game, because he's losing the general in some early skirmish. But in this case, it's not going all too bad. There's a Yari Ash that's routing due to the flanking maneuvers, and he got a charge into the Matchlock Sam. And here it's less successful kills-wise, but he's buying his Portuguese Tercos some time to line up some good volleys. When all the while we have some weird angles here. Matchlock Samurai shooting some men from C4's avatar. Very interesting. But yeah, we see Spice making a more aggressive claim on all of the dojos, and I think he's going to get all 3 eventually. He already has the workshop. But yeah, in this early stage of the game, Spice's very limited Cav contingent is doing a lot of the work here, causing a lot of mayhem. Here, C4 has to pop Banzai early on his Lone Sword, but the risk is obviously that eventually this avatar from Spice, who is not a Bushido general, could perish. But I think, yeah, right now C4 is looking a bit unorganized, and the trades are not going in his favor, especially with these Portuguese Tercos shooting straight into the long Yari Ash, which is in Spearball still, so making it very slow. So C4, yeah, now he got out of Spearball, making it possible for them to get into a safe distance more quickly. But yeah, so far, this Daikyu that I think is now hidden in the in here somewhere, hasn't really been able to deal any considerable amount of damage so far. But we see also some sloppy play from Spice here. This Yarikev being inactive, targeted by matchlocks. Here we see bulletproof against lone swords, which should be cost efficient for the lone swords in the long term, but you still have to be careful with these engagements, because the lone swords could lose this purely based on morale, even though they have better melee stats. So Spice actually managed to save his general here from the onslaught of C4's Firecav rank 6. But so far also, I think everything that C4 has done has been reactionary, in the sense that he just has to think about defending the super aggressive play from Spice, and now this the reaction in this case helped him to snipe Spice's general with his matchlock, which was a nice move by C4. But now he needs to get the matchlock Sams out instead of running forward. I think they still have an attack order. Yeah. So they're going to die, and potentially this Firecav is going to get into the matchlock Sams. I'm not sure if they will kill them, because matchlock Sams can be quite sturdy with 6 armor and 5 melee defense. But yeah, the Archery Dojo and the Farmhouse are now in the control of Spice Merchant, who's feeling strong enough to even attempt an uphill engagement here. And C4 choosing the safe route of trying to reorganize on the hilltop. But let's see, if this Firecav can rout the matchlock Sams, then the remaining cavalry units here could do a lot of damage potentially. I think C4 is taking the right approach and trying to do damage repair on this flank by overpowering Spice Merchant. This back charge against the Nodachi will do a lot of damage, but in the meantime these lone swords are getting fire into the back from the Tercos with 65 reload and 72 accuracy, so they are absolutely lethal. C4 is targeting the Tercos with his bow ash, but it will take a lot of time to damage them. They have 10 armor. I do wonder, because I haven't seen them in a while, if the Daikyu is already routed. I'm not sure. But yeah, that could be routed already, to be honest. So we see the problem for Spice now, and that he had a huge advantage going in, pushing C4 up onto this hill. But then he ran out of cav and he lost his general, which means that C4 is now in the position of basically picking and choosing which engagements to take and which engagements to avoid, which is always the privilege if you have more cav than your opponent, or if your opponent has no cav at all, I should say. So the game now is, I would say, C4's to lose, and about 2 or 3 minutes ago was Spice Merchant's game to lose, because he had a huge advantage with his entire flank still being intact here. So we'll have to see. C4 is still targeting the Tercos. Probably not a bad choice. It's still going to take a lot of time, but you want to remove this unit from the battlefield. Especially since the only tool against it is this remaining Fire Cav with 23 men. We see Matchlock Ash being routed, probably something that could have been avoided, but at 67 men I think they will also come back. Bulletproofs against Nodachi, I don't know about that. These bulletproofs will not survive that engagement. And yeah, C4 now has to make a run for it. Long Yari Ash being routed, and now his main force consists of 2 skirmish units, 3 skirmish units with this Matchlock Ash coming back. And the Fire Cav, which was positioned here right behind the general, was just routed. So a bit of a micro mistake here, keeping it in the range of the Tercos, and also nice targeting from Spice Merchant. Not only did he rout the Fire Cav, but he also killed the horses of the general, making it basically an infantry unit now. So even though this Terco has taken a lot of damage already from the Bow Ash, I think these were some crucial moves. And yes, C4 is making a run for it, trying to reorganize again, running towards this area around the workshop. And we can see how sturdy these bulletproof stems are. So they were engaged with Nodachi and managed to get out under fire from matchlocks and still have like a somewhat green morale while doing so. They were also inspired by their general to make it out of there alive. But yeah, still going strong at 26 men. Very good unit. And now Spice really has to think about how to structure this chase, because all he has to do is chase C4's units down. But that's easier said than done, because right now he's showing how not to do it, because these 2 units are far too much ahead of this main force, and they have no means of supporting each other. We see 120 men unit of Yariash not only routing but being shattered, so they have no chance of coming back. This Nodachi now also wavering as well. They will not make it into these 2 skirmish units. They possibly already used up their Banzai. Yeah, now they're shattered as well. These 2 units, Spice Merchant just lost for nothing, basically. So this was really a big mistake, I think. If he does this chase with his matchlocks in the lead, so the matchlocks going in first, I think he could avoid things like that from happening. Because no matter what happens, if you go first with the matchlocks, you will get at least 1 return salvo before something funky can happen where your unit gets routed. And yeah, but now it's now the game is much more open after these 2 units got away. We see a Yari-Sam chasing the Matchlock Ash. The Yari-Sam should naturally catch up to them and kill them, especially with the farmhouse in Spice's possession. But still, sometimes you also have to be mindful of things like attack orders, so it's always difficult to chase a unit with an attack order. It's much more easy to do it with a movement order to prevent any bugs from occurring. So let's see. But the interesting thing is also that during this whole process of kiting and chasing, C4 has had a light cav unit hidden here in this little forest up on the other corner of the map, and I think he forgot about it during the entire battle. And just imagine what a light cav in this scenario could do for C4. Like, these 2 matchlock units would be a lot less independent in their movements with another Cav unit on the battle, and neither Spice Merchant nor C4 realize that the Cav is still on the battlefield. Yeah, which could also explain this balancing bar, which is still quite evenly matched. But yeah, again, now we see the same scenario as before. We see a Yarisam going in first, taking some hits, and the matchlocks are coming in second, and there's really no reason for that. I mean, he could have just gone in with the matchlocks first, and yeah, now we see the Yarisams being shattered as well. That's the problem when your general is already dead. Lots of units just get shattered with no chance of coming back. But finally, Spice manages to get his matchlocks into action, and at this point, I think C4 realized that the game is up and stops trying to make a run for it. Even using his bow ash in melee, but probably out of ammo. But I think it must have been at this point that he realized he still had a light Cav. Yeah, now he moves it, and yeah, he's probably really frustrated at this point, because I really think there was a window of opportunity where this light Cav would have won C4 the game. There's no question about it, I think. But again, both players had the game in their hand, had a clear path to victory, and both players gave it away. And in the end, now Spice Merchant prevails thanks to the damage that he was able to deal in the early game. Yeah, but lots of mistakes. I would say almost more mistakes by Spice Merchant in this game than by C4. C4 was just a little unorganized in the beginning, being harassed by the Cav, but he didn't do any major strategic mistakes, I would say. But yeah, this is a formality now. There's no way for C4 to win this, because there's always one matchlock that can focus fire the Cav. Although he lets his matchlock get charged in the back. But these Ashigaru stand no chance against the Samurai, and yeah, the long Yari Ash still being on the battlefield. Rout the Light Cav, making the score 1-1. Very interesting battle. I think I would say probably the closest one so far we've had in the tournament. But also one with probably the best examples of how not to play an endgame. Yeah. Portuguese Terracos almost 400 kills. They had a lot of fun that game. Overall, I think this was a game of matchlocks on both sides. Doing lots of damage. This Daikyu, I think, got caught early in one of the Cav barrages. Could have really come in handy to minimize the threat from the Terco if the Daikyu had gotten more Cav protection. But yeah, I think that's also what happens when both players are not using a lot of cavalry. In that the pendulum of the game can swing around quite considerably. Yeah. Either way, I'll have to think about this battle a little more before I can say more about it. I just think it was a bit weird. But anyhow, that makes it 1-1, and I'll see you guys in game 3 on Habbo Ridge. See you then. Bye bye. And we're back with game 3, the tiebreaker on Habbo Ridge. Once again, I should have to say, because so far all the round 2 battles I've casted on my channel were decided on this very map. So we've had lots of close games, which is in general, I think, a good sign for any tournament. So for Spice Merchant, once again we have two calves, a Yari calf and a Fire calf. Fire calf being level 0, curiously. I definitely would recommend upgrading this to some limited extent. But anyway, lots of aggressive movements from Spice as is usual. Then we see some matchlocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them, none of them extended range. Some Yari Ash, some Yari Samurai, some level 0 Nodachi. Yeah, quite standard stuff here. Also again a Naginata Sam, rank 2. For C4, we have a Matchlock Sam already being charged with a Nagi Attendant on the left. Another Matchlock, so 3 Matchlocks in total for him. So 1 less than Spice. Some Banzai Lone Swords, a Nagi Warrior Monk rank 4, very nice. I like the I like just taking 1 Nagi Warrior Monk and taking it with a different setup. A Bulletproof rank 4, also very strong. And I think he had a Bulletproof last game. I don't know how that works, if they did a vet refresh. And the Bow Ash rank 5 as well. But the game has started already with some exchanges here. I don't see any calf for C4. I'm not sure if that's hidden or if he went completely calf free. Both of these players are super reluctant to play with cavalry, it would seem, or to play with lots of cavalry. But yeah, it makes it more interesting because I think both players have a very similar playstyle. So we have Matchlock Sams of C4 having fired a volley and now retreating, and Spice Merchant taking a very nice position here with forest protection, but being able to shoot out of the forest without any trees in front of him. I think this is super strong, and yeah, C4 is, I think, making the right decision and making a full retreat here, which would mean that Spice Merchant gets the Sword Dojo, which is a huge advantage for him. In the center we have a Shrine, which both players are contesting, and an Archery Dojo for Spice Merchant, which is not to be neglected, I think, especially with 4 matchlocks. It can make a lot of difference in the amount of damage you can deal with them. So yeah, it seems like C4 is retreating on his left while trying some more aggressive moves on his right. Maybe he'll find a gap with his calf, which I didn't see before, so he has a fire calf and a light calf. So equal amounts of cavalry units to Spice Merchants. Here I think this is a problem for C4. His units got caught by a Nodachi. The Nodachi in itself wouldn't kill much here, but now he basically ties C4's units up that are in the range of fire of 2 matchlocks. And I think this is the wrong decision here, sending more units into it. Like, his focus should be to avoid this Nodachi and get as many troops out as possible. He doesn't want to be in this line of fire. So I think it's the right approach that he wants to win on this flank and push more aggressively here. But coupled with so many units being tied up in this mess, this makes it very, very difficult to pull off. And yeah, the problem is in Harper Ridge, you can just close down certain areas very effectively with spear walls. And yeah, we have 2 spear walls next to each other. To Yariash, rank 2, rank 5 from Spice, and even though he doesn't have the melee power to withhold or to withstand this assault for a long time, he will do enough damage to basically make this engagement not cost efficient for C4, who is popping stand and fight very early here to avoid this flank from breaking. Yeah, and this on the right, Spice Merchant's push is just relentless. He's giving C4 no room to breathe. Who's looking a bit disorganized, trying to pull back his army, which is the correct move in theory, but it's still hard to pull off in an organized manner. Also, he couldn't. I don't think any of C4's matchlocks so far have had any chance to to get into proper firefight. And yeah, Bulletproof Sam is down to 40 men. Lone Sword Ashigaru only 24 kills, heavily depleted. So the aggressive moves from Spice Merchant really paying off here, and we see a lot of troops from C4 now, not really being involved in the battle. They're just basically here in order to not get shot to pieces, but they're not being proactive either. And now with the Spice Merchant's cavalry and the general coming into the back of the Yari Ash, which already used up their hold firm, this just means that yeah, there's a mass rout on C4's flank, and you can see where this is going. With these Yari Ash builds, once the mass routing starts on one flank, this is usually very difficult to make it stop. See general in stand and fight, receiving some volleys from the Matchlock Sams, but yeah, I think this game is just yeah, CBC C4 conceding. This game was basically won by C4, no, by Spice Merchant covering lots of ground early game with 4 matchlocks, making sure that he gets some essential dojos that way, and coupled with a very smart move with the Nodachi in the center, which tied like 3 or 4 units from C4. He was just able to get his matchlocks into a better firing position, and keeping C4 constantly on the move, where C4 couldn't return fire really, and being thus pressured into making some flanking assaults into spear walls that were unwinnable. So yeah, vanilla Firecav, 164 kills. That's impressive. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't read too much into the kill stats, because when there's a mass rout of Mashigaru happening, then basically everyone can get free kills. But I would be curious how much the matchlocks from C4 killed. There's a matchlock Sam with 23, matchlock Ash with 12, Bow Ash with 6, and matchlock Ash with 5. So yeah, oh, and another matchlock Ash with 0. So this can be basically classified as a failure on part of the skirmish department, and everything else I think is secondary to it. Because if the skirmish fails in that regard, then you can't really do much with the Ashigaru core of Lone Swords and Yari Ash. They just get massacred. But yeah, this makes it 2-1 in general to Spice Merchant, which means he wins the best of 3 and moves on to round 3, and C4 moves on into the lower bracket, where he will be playing against Michalka. Until then, I'll cast some more battles from round 2, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.